Now, before we jump into this episode, quick apologies. I screwed up and had issues in terms of the recording app where I didn't record any audio or actual live footage of myself in the process. So, bottom line is there's no in game audio, just me doing commentary after the fact. So, apologies for that, but hope you enjoy the episode. Hello and welcome back to another episode here on the channel. I'm your host, longtime listener. Be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. You'll notice that, well, let's start by saying today's the 21st. There's nothing on the calendar. Now, you will notice that there's no video feed of my ugly face in the bottom left-hand corner, and that's because I screwed up with my recording tool and forgot to turn it back on after doing some video tutorials where I was recording the screen um, on my PC but didn't want my face in the way. So anyway, apologies there. I actually also didn't even turn on the audio recording. So basically I'm going back and doing all of this afterwards. So anyway, we start off on Sunday the 21st. That means it's traveling cart day. So that's one thing on the to-do list today, but also we'll want to swing by the merchant in the desert to purchase staircases in exchange for jade. So those are the two major things on the agenda for today. Now, we're going to make a bunch of gold here, but like an idiot, I should have been making the quartz that I already brought with me. So I kind of screwed that up, but it's no big deal. We will come back and do that later after I realized that I screwed it up. So, anyway, um, man, I really wish we could get our hands on a bunch of lightning rods to finish out the boiler room here. We might be able to do it in another like summer season if we get like 3 storms that are pretty violent. It might generate enough battery packs for us to pull that off, but it's not a big deal. It's just to produce diamonds, which are really just for cash, which is irrelevant. You can see that we have 3.3 million bucks on us at the moment, and we really don't have all that much to spend money on anytime soon. Like when spring starts, we already have a gazillion strawberries saved up so that we won't even have to buy those. Um, so anyway, money not an issue. I think the only real big purchase that's kind of left that's still out there is the that golden clock thing that I think you buy from the wizard that prevents any kind of rocks or twigs or anything from popping up on your farm when a new season starts. But that's not even that big of a deal anymore because of all the flooring that we have put down. It'll save us a little bit of work, but you know, it's like I said, it's not a big deal because the flooring is going to cover up most of that space. So anyway, and I think that's 10 million, so it's going to be a while before we get to that. But come springtime, those Junimo huts are going to kick in. That's going to be awesome. So there's that. And we'll be able to kick off that cutscene where Jazz and Vincent give us the last thing for our wallet because of our friendship level with them. So that's cool. So, what shall we discuss? So I was saying that the reason for the failure in the footage and me having to go back and do commentary afterwards is because I was doing some tutorial videos. And the way I'm doing those is I kind of make notes about everything that I want to talk about, and then I record the audio alone for what I want to discuss. And then I just basically I hop on YouTube or on the wiki and find the content that I'm looking for. So like if I just want to show something on the wiki, I'll just record my screen without my face in the way and with no audio so that I can display that over the audio track that I've already cut for the tutorial. Um, and then like for example, I might find an old video on YouTube that's based on the similar concept. So I'm basically poaching video content from people to create the tutorials, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. So I would even give them a shout out if they really want me to. So anyway, bottom line is I've been doing some of those tutorials, and as I'm recording those or doing the editing for them, or capturing the video for them, I'm turning off my webcam and microphone so that I'm not showing up on the screen. And I just forgot to turn it back on whenever I captured the game footage for this episode. Whatever, not a big deal. We're probably close to where we need to kill off some slimes to make room for additional slimes again, because we're getting a fair amount each time. But anyway, not a big deal. I really don't care that much. It's not a big deal. Um, Another thing that we'll want to try and do in this episode is go to Clint's and have him bust open those artifact troves. See if we can't get the Elvis jewelry, the chewing stick, or the rare disc. Those are the 3 artifacts remaining that we still need, and it is super, super frustrating that we are having this much trouble getting any of them, let alone all of them. We got pumpkin juice ready, so that's cool. It'll be a decent payout today at the end of the day. Not that it really matters, but whatevs. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I am tired. I might just stop recording, walk, go get some coffee, let you watch the screen with silence, and then come back. I really want to, but I won't do that to you. Anyway, I suppose I probably could have turned on the camera to do this audio track instead of just doing it with the voice recorder. I could have done it with the camera app in Windows, but it's not a big deal. It would have taken more work to figure out how to format it and lay it over the game footage and size it down into the bottom left corner and all that fun stuff. I could figure it out. I just don't really want to, so deal with it. So anyway, see, you know what stinks about me doing this recording right now is that I kind of still remember what I talked about while we were playing, or while I was playing, to the point where I don't remember if I've already said it on this audio recording versus having talked about it while I was actually playing. So I'll probably tell you some things more than once, but that's okay. One thing I do want to talk about is, as I have probably done in like each of the last 100 episodes, and that is how excited I am about 1.5 coming out, because it's going to be awesome. And we're going to start over a new farm, and it's going to be fresh, and there's probably going to be a lot of viewership. At least I hope that there will be some more viewership because of just general, hype around that update, and people, hopping back onto the onto YouTube to find some playthroughs and get back into the groove as they start their 1.5 playthrough. So we'll see. But bottom line is, I really don't care so much about the viewership as much as I do about just kind of, playing the game and having fun with it. And it's going to be awesome. So, in fact, I find like this is probably true of most people that do, streaming or content like this. If this were just me playing this playthrough and not posting this on YouTube, there is almost no way I would still be playing this particular playthrough. I would have just kind of gotten to the point where it's like, all right, I've pretty much done everything. Let's, just put the game down. We won't play it for a while. We'll come back whenever I'm getting an itch to play it again. And at that point, I almost always open my old save file, and it's like, I don't even remember what I was trying to do here. So I'm just going to start a new one. It's like, it just kind of like the game just doesn't have that much of appeal if you're like just starting back up with your playthrough or whatever, and you already have all the tools and all the awesome stuff. Like the biggest, the funnest part of the game is acquiring the stuff along the way. You know what I mean? So, all right, we went to the desert and got our staircases. Now we're gonna go see Clint, have him bust open these artifact troves, and we got an ancient seed. That's cool. Dried starfish, not cool. Really, even the ancient seed's not that valuable. Arrowhead, absolutely not valuable. Glass shards are 100% useless, as is a prehistoric tool, which is just a bent spoon. Another ancient seed, also useless, and there you have it. Yet another Omni Geode slash artifact trove run that was 100% useless for us. And it's just killing me, y'all. Absolutely killing me. We cannot get those freaking artifacts. The one that's really driving me crazy is the chewing stick, because I feel like I get it like early on in my playthroughs typically and end up getting a bunch of them. That just seems to be the way it is, that like once you get an item, it seems like the likelihood of getting it again goes up. And as a result, perhaps that means that the items that you haven't gotten, obviously, the likelihood of getting those goes down. So the deeper you get into the game, if you haven't gotten an elvish jewelry yet, it's going to become more and more rare. That just seems like that's the way things go sometimes, but still, I've completed the museum before, I'm pretty sure, and I don't ever remember it taking this long to find like everything. So I'm not sure what the deal is there. So, um, what are we doing here? Oh, we're going over to grab the stuff from the trees, and then I think that'll wrap up this day. Oh no, we're gonna go put the quartz into the furnaces, and then tomorrow we'll make some more uh, crystal flooring. So that's cool. Oh my goodness. My kids are playing apparently like right outside the door as I'm recording this. So you might not be able to hear them, but I can. Whatever. Not a big deal. So I will say this episode is going to be a 3-day episode, so that's cool. And part of the reason I want to try and be doing short days and 3 days per episode is because the quicker that we can get to the springtime, the better off we'll be in terms of being able to give you a look at how Junimo huts work, and we can get that cutscene with Vincent and Jazz. So, looking forward to those couple of things in the spring. Also, I don't think you can get as many artifacts from the artifact wormies during the winter as you can during the other seasons. So, I'm hoping that maybe um, during the spring we can start just basically going all the way around town looking for worms and hoping that they net us the artifacts that we're looking for. I mean, it's a stretch, but we'll see. One thing we want to do in the next day or so here is head up to the mines and kill a few bats, because we want bat wings so we can build those last 5 lightning rods and have them in place before thunderstorm season. So that's on the to-do list. And I don't know how much else there is that's like firmly on the to-do list, to be honest. or at least not around the farm. Like we want to finish the flooring, and we want to finish the lightning rods. That's pretty much it. Oh God, y'all, I need some coffee. Like I'm falling asleep just sitting here, and I'm talking. So I don't know what that's all about. All right, so that was like a 50K payday there. Not too bad. Now, 22nd of winter, which means it is tea leaf season. So we will be going and rooting around in Caroline's bush today. And I believe we also go um, to the mines to try and kill us a couple of bats. But those are the two major things that I believe are on the to-do list for the day. Nothing super critical though, right? Uh, see, this is why I don't like recording after I've played. It's just because it's hard for me to do commentary because I'm just, I don't know. I feel like it's easier to do if you're playing as you go because you're spending time, thinking about what you're doing and you're not talking quite as much, if that makes sense. So, all right, we're making gold. We'll have some quartz in here to collect, and we will use that to produce crystal floors. But first, we want to make sure that we have some set aside for those lightning rods. So we'll need to keep 5 for that purpose. Anyway, I forgot about doing a skull cavern dive in the last episode because the first day of this one there were a ton of eggs and there was a bunch of milk and stuff, and I was like, what is the deal here? And then I just realized that it was because we did skull cavern dive where we warped to the desert rather than you know doing our normal chores around the homestead. So, well, what else should we discuss? Um, I don't know. I got nothing, y'all. Maybe I should just like stop, cut out footage, and then splice it back together with a big chunk of it missing and be like, that's going to do it for this episode. Hit that like button. Yada yada. But that wouldn't be fair. Somebody might be really interested in seeing us root around in Caroline's bush. And I would not want anybody to miss that because it is fantastic. Right? Maybe we could tell a joke. See, the best jokes that I have are more visual jokes, though, or they require like a second party where I ask a question, you give an answer, kind of like a knock knock joke type scenario. You know what I'm saying? I know I've told my joke about Canada, how it got its name, so I won't tell that one again. Maybe there are stories that I can tell. I know I've told most of the stories of my shenanigans. What shenanigans have I not discussed, though? Hmm. I don't know. Trying to think. Whatever. Not a big deal. If I come up with something, we'll figure it out. Just to have some dialogue going. So I don't care about this green slime egg. We're just going to sell it. I really don't need that many slime eggs in there anyway. I'm kind of getting tired of dealing with the slime hutch already, to be honest, because it's just not that big of a deal. Like it makes me a little bit of money, but it's work that I have to do every day. It's kind of like I don't really feel like messing with you guys. It only takes a minute. And as long as I'm keeping the animals and having to deal with them, then it's kind of like, well, I'm already down this way, might as well deal with them. So I do need at some point though to remember to take out a silo or two, um, and move the slime hutch over a space or two. Keep forgetting about that. Not that it's a big deal, it just kind of bothers me the way it looks at the moment. Um, to the point where, like, when I'm done with this playthrough, I am, in fact, I might just do this anyway. I can take a screenshot of my existing farm layout as kind of a template, but then I want to go to the Stardew Valley planner and figure out a better way to do this. I might just look at some, other people's farm layouts for a little bit of inspiration. I do like the way my field is set up to where it's off to the right hand side, straight below the farm or farmhouse. Um, I like where my first shed goes. I like where my stable goes, and the bee house is, and for the most part, I like where most of the stuff is. I could deal without having the museum and the saloon. So that's something that we could do next time a little bit differently is instead of doing those, just do like another keg shed or have a shed that's all furnaces or something like that. But we'll figure it out. Or maybe even put my slime hutch up there if I'm going to do a slime hutch. So anyway, um, where were we? Um, hmm, I didn't remember. All right, so now I think we're heading to the mines here to try and kill us a couple of bats. So that is the objective with this adventure. I don't really think it matters exactly what levels you go to because I believe that bats can essentially show up on any level for the most part. Like they probably don't ever show up on the first floor. And they probably, well, I know they don't show up on level 120 because there's nothing there. But anyway, I like to go to the iron levels if I'm looking for bats. And I think that's mostly because um, if I'm going for bats, typically I'm also thinking, well, I might as well try and get some coal while I'm at it, because coal is usually one of those resources that's a little bit difficult to come by early on, at least. So I go to the iron levels because that's where the black bouncy dudes are, and you can kill them while you're trying to also kill some bats. But anyway, I'm taking a nap after this, y'all. No doubt about it. I'm going to tell my kids, do not bother me for the next 45 minutes. And I'm going to pass out, and it's going to be glorious. Then I got to get up and get some chores done. But anyway. Ooh, hang on 1 second. I shall be right back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about the total radio silence there. Um, you know, now that I think about this, you're not going to get any audio from the game footage either. Oh my gosh, this is going to be terrible. Oh, brutal. I might go and just try and find uh, a loop of Stardew Valley songs and just put it in here. Man, because the video capture process, like if I turn off the audio and the webcam, I, I think it also stops the recording of the audio from the in-game, which doesn't really make sense. Like, but whatever. I don't know technically why it does that, but now that I'm sitting here and watching this as I'm recording audio, it's awfully quiet. So thinking about you having to watch this gameplay and only hear my voice is something that I would never put anybody through. So if I can't figure out a good way to overlay some, gameplay audio on top of the video footage, then we will just skip posting this one and have it fixed for the next episode. And we'll give you a recap at the beginning of that episode that explains what happened. In fact, what I will probably do is put a disclaimer at the beginning of this episode that explains before you watch it what you are about to experience and how it's going to, be different from an audio visual perspective. That way nobody can get mad at me for false advertising. So here we go, putting up some crystal floor. So we're getting close to finishing this part of the farm design process. So that's cool, right? Got ourselves a double row there for a little bit more, room to run. And I will need to put a little bit more down there at the bottom. And I could put some like in the spaces between the scarecrows going up each side, but it's not a big deal. This is the area that I wanted to try and knock out first because it's bothering me how it's like unfinished. So I wanted to start over here. And it's silly that you have to put it down on soil that is not tilled. Like, why is that a requirement? But whatever. So there we go. Like I said, we're most of the way done with that now. Probably another batch or two of quartz, and that's assuming that I do put stuff in between the scarecrows like that. So I don't even think I will. It's not that big of a deal. I might put a few more like over there, right below that uh, side by the shipping bin where I have those couple of random sprinklers. But I don't know. It's probably not a big deal. All right. So that's day 2 of the episode. We are going to do a quick third day here. And when I say quick, I mean it's going to be quick. It's Leah's birthday. But that is pretty much all that's on the calendar that is super critical. We will go root around in Caroline's bush because that's just what we do on the last week of the season. But anyway, it'll be a pretty quick one. So hang in there, y'all. In fact, let's see. I can tell you how much longer there is. About 7 minutes left. So it's definitely a quick day. Anyway, what should we discuss now? I mean, there's really not a whole lot going on in terms of like super noteworthy gameplay at the moment. We're just kind of grinding out winter here, trying to get to spring. And realistically, by the time I post this video, it is likely that there will be at least an update as to what's going on with 1.5, if not it already being out. So we'll see. I was watching one of my old videos the other day. Um, and it's funny because I was talking about predictions about the presidential election, and I was pretty much spot on. I was talking about how with like the early voting process, a lot of those people that were going to vote early or by mail were probably, disproportionately Biden supporters. And so what you would have on election night would be states where they didn't count any of those early votes until election night. So they would be getting polling data from the people that voted on the day of the election, and those results would be showing up first for the most part, and it would show Trump with the lead, and then those early votes would start getting tabulated, and Biden would come roaring back, and there would be a huge scandal and claims of fraud and all that stuff. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And here we are a month later, and it's still like front and center in the news pretty much every day. It's really getting frustrating. I mean, I don't care who you support. You, I think we're all just tired of this crap. Like I'm just ready to move on. Like if there's evidence out there, show the freaking evidence. Don't show videos of some person walking around in a room holding a box and say that it's evidence of voter fraud. Like if I can see that person open the box, pull out a gazillion ballots and then run them through a tabulating machine several times each, that is evidence of fraud. But somebody walking around a room with a box is not evidence of fraud. But yet you see these news stories where like that's what they're saying is clear evidence of fraud. And other things that they say are clear evidence of fraud are like the fact that a lot of the Senate races went to Republicans. So why would the presidential race not go to Trump? And that's a sign of fraud. Like, no, that is not a sign of fraud. Is it interesting? Sure. But it's not evidence of anything illegal. But the one that really drives me crazy the most is in Pennsylvania, where they set legislation in October of 2019 in regards to mail in ballots, and that legislation was in place on election day, and now the Trump administration is challenging the legality of that legislation and saying that all of those mail-in ballots should be thrown out. And it's like you can't change the rules of the game after it was played. If you had a problem with that law, you should have brought it up before the election, and it wasn't brought up. Nobody brought it up. Nobody heard of Act 77 until after the election this year. You know what I mean? So it's just like, come on, guys, just get over it. I feel like Trump would have been a whole lot better off just like accepting the loss and saying like, look, there are a lot of things here that look kind of fishy. We're going to look into them. We want recounts in states where it was really close. We would like to see audits done to confirm accuracy and do hand counts and all that fun stuff. But like one thing I can tell you for darn sure is I'll be running again for 2024. That would have been like a slam dunk to get him right back into the mix for next election and give him the ability to kind of still be the face of the Republican Party for the next 4 years. But I feel like he's doing himself a ton of damage by all of these efforts in court that keep getting dismissed and thrown out or denied and all that. I mean, he's won a few cases, but there's still, when his own attorney general was saying there's no signs of, widespread fraud that they've discovered, like something is just, there's got to be a point where they just give up, you know. And now you got like people on Twitter threatening vote counters, saying they should be put to death for treason, um, because of you know news stories that said they were cheating, even though again there's not a lot of evidence to support those claims. The states where they're saying these things, there were actual audits and recounts that confirmed all of this stuff as being accurate. So it's just, oh my gosh, seriously, y'all, get past this. Okay, rant over. And now it's here we are. We've rooted around in Caroline's bush. We're here to see Leah and give her. Did I say Emily or did I say Caroline? Anyway, we root around in Caroline's bush. We give Leah her birthday present, and that is it for this day, y'all. So we're heading back to the farm, and we're gonna go to bed. Sorry about the political rant. I try and be unbiased as much as I can, but I'm not gonna lie. Trump grinds my gears. You know, I don't think he's. I think he's a liar, and I don't think he's good for America. I do agree with some of his policies, but the way he goes about executing them is just not what I consider presidential. So I will be glad when he's gone. I just fear that the Democrats and Republicans have gotten so far apart that it's just like nothing gets done anymore. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, comment below, and we will see y'all next time.